the defenders trying to stave off elimination. Bob and Harasser D, Demian and Partisan B, Artivoran and Oro C, Demo C for Chezer, Ivan and Shadowcat B, Burner and Warhammer F, Shooter and Hollander B, Grabiker and Loki C. Opposing them and trying to close out the campaign, Kill Them All in a Warhammer F, Mr. Gray and an Avatar C, Nyx and a Bushwhacker A, Vivisector and a Morrigu D, Dolarich and an Oro C, Churus and a Uller G, Milos and a Shadowcat A, and their drop commander and leader, Zoidberg and Hephaestus B. ELH are the Tikonov task force attacking the Duchy of Small Planet. These are the Duchy of Small defenders here. Led by Warlord Kentax and KOS Invictus, who are not with us, so we're in their stead. I am your supervisor and guide tonight as we go on the super hot volcanic map called TC Inferno. You do not want to run into any of that red stuff because you will die. And I'm keeping an eye out. We have one player connected that's not part of the drop, so we're just making sure that he's not going to cause any issues. And we welcome everybody that can to come play in the Chaos March as long as they have a TeamSpeak connection. And there we go. So that player is now taking a look, and extreme, close range, heavily armored, generally slow stuff for the defenders. Bit more range and options for the attackers. The attackers are utilizing a rather similar drop list to the one that they took last weekend on this map last Sunday. Today is Saturday, although I guess it's Saturday and Sunday because it's starting to get late. This planet is strategically important to Tikonov. As we see Zoidberg telling his team to hold up there for a minute as he now moves back out. Zoidberg acting as a scout, as he did before, has a bit of radar here and definitely has good optics, so he's going to slowly move out and provide his Tikonov attackers information on where to head out and what to attack, what to shoot. As we take a look here, and let's see, this is the Hephaestus B, so he has GECM and BHP and enhanced optics. So he has a complete package for maximum radar and maximum visuals, so he is scouting for his team. He's having his team hold back very close to their main base, and they want a close range fight as well, it looks like. So Zoidberg is working his team into positioning as we see Burner acting as the leader of the other team, the leader of the Wolverines Rebirth and the leader of the Scythe faction in this game. He is at center, telling his team we are at center and we are going to sit here for a little while. Neither team having to exchange firepower yet, so if we have any DCs, we'll have a hold. Both teams are still moving a little bit, so that may not be the case. About a kilometer separating our teams right now. Both teams wanting to wait for the other team to come in and attack them. Few probably has visual now on the enemy, as one of the defenders is poking out a bit. And he's let loose a couple of cannons, so the two teams know where each other are at. And Bob and the harasser waiting for something to get closer. Zoidberg taking the information gained from his teammate and moving as close as he feels comfortable to get radar and positioning information, trying to figure out who's in what they're facing. He has a fast asset and he's a very veteran player, so he has no problem moving up a couple hundred meters like this from Bob and taking a look around. He'll probably pull back after a little bit. Unknown if the defenders pick him up. Not sure if that shot landed, so we may or may not have had the first contact where you land a shot on somebody and then you can't have any holds after that, except in extreme circumstances. Tank, tank, tank. Name of the day with 3 tanks here. They want ELH to come up here, and neither team has any incentive right now to do anything but what they're doing, because a tie simply moves to the next map, and given that they're up 2-0, Tikonov might be just as willing as the Duchy defenders to sit back and wait for somebody to make a move. We started this map. $988. So we'll see where we go from here. Team trying to maybe open up a shot here. Art of War seeing something he likes, and that is on the extreme edge of the range of his weapons. They definitely now see Zoidberg, and Zoidberg attempting to retain fire as well. 600 meter range in both of their weapons. Looks like Zoidberg does hit. We have confirmed hits, so there will be no holes, and we should have continuous action as the two teams attempt to trade fire. Zoidberg trying to tempt the defenders into firing at him so we can get a feel for what weapons they have. Trying to see if he can get the Duchy defenders to run out of patience and come after him into a trap of his making. These tactics, similar by the attacking forces, as the last battle. So we will attempt to see if the defenders fall for it. As we see them trading shots with Zoidberg, Zoidberg more than happy to have them waste some of their ammunition and utilize their weapons, so he gets a feel for what they're using as his teammates watch their leader in combat. Zoidberg has more than enough speed cover with which to move backwards, so expect this tactic to continue for quite some time. He likely has a lot of them on radar, so he'll be able to track his... Oh no! See, from this angle, it looks like somebody just went into the lava. Bob has more speed than Zoidberg does with the flamer, but Bob has to see those 6 other assets floating over there, 7 other assets, and if he doesn't, he has no defensive weapons against them. As he attempts to flank out, Zoidberg continues to hold his position. The rest of the defenders are saying, "We ain't going anywhere." 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a Shadowcat B with an LBX 20. Not really enough range to take on Zoid right now. Zoidberg continues to hold his positioning. The defenders are now trying to move into breaking line of contact so that Zoidberg's radar doesn't provide any detailed information more than it needs to. So we see Art of War moving up a bit. Zoidberg probably picking up on radar and now moving up. Let's take a look at the rest of the Tikonov forces, trying to provide visual scouting. Make sure that the Duchy defense forces don't outflank them and move in. Zoidberg now hanging back a bit. Bob trying to get visual scouting information of his own, having to rely on visual because this thing doesn't have the greatest radar. His weapons are only about as effective as we're looking at him right now, 90 meters out. So he has to be very careful. He's going to slowly move on. Bob, as veteran of a player as they come, certainly knows all about positioning and where to head to. And head back to his teammates as Zoidberg may be pulling back a bit. The Tikonov forces might be slowly moving for some better positioning. Zoidberg now near that base that Bob was recently. Moving up with his forces a little bit. They're trying to close the distance a bit, trying to bait Bob to come in and fight. See that the Tikonov forces are now moving on a heavy flank over to the left. Bring kill them all last so that he can provide scouting information. Zoidberg having located his targets. Started at 88. 11 minutes into the battle. 30-minute time limit. With the two teams just trying to get their positioning down, trying to force the two teams to move in where they want their enemy to engage them at. Zoidberg moving a bit to get some positioning. Trying to do any damage he can while he's providing visual scouting. Continuing to try and make the defenders make a mistake and chase after him. Neither team with really the range with which to outgun Zoidberg right now. Zoidberg can hit from 600 to 750 meters, I believe. He's probably starting to realize the weapons loadout of the other team and telling his team that we don't want to get in there and engage them. Zoidberg's starting to take some pretty heavy damage. So his teammates will come up to enforce him, and Zoidberg maybe giving the go to move in full after the defenders. Bob continues to set off to the side. So we now have some pretty heavy movement. Teams trading some reasonable firepower now, and the defenders are absolutely aware that the Tikonov attackers are on the move, and you can see that they are getting within range and getting ready for a full-on attack. So they bring in their heavy assets up front, the Morgoo, the Warhammer, the Bushwhacker. Zoidberg evaluating whether his opponents are going to counter this, and brings all of his forces up now. Now let's see how his opponents are going to counter him. Chezar with the demo. They're moving back a bit. They're getting out of here. They are pulling back from center a bit and are attempting to get the tanks to move back, and they are trying to heavily counter them. Trying to get in and close at close range, which will be hard, but maybe their best hope, as you can see the two forces have split off a bit into the middle. Any advantage they had now is gone because they've given away their positioning, and they're going to put down some heavy firepower on Tikonov, but the Duchy of Small Forces are... Oh, well, Bob is dead. Or possibly will be. He's in a very dangerous place. Trying to get out. This might be a matter of time. He's dead. A very, 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 very costly mistake. Now the Tikonov forces have the 8-7 advantage, and Burner no longer has that super flamer asset to try and hit above its weight. And something like that is unfortunate, but it might just be enough in a tightly won battle like this to turn it around. 8 carrying assets for the attackers, 7 carrying assets for the Duchy of Small Forces. Bob, an experienced player, and that was certainly not something that he did on purpose. And unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. And I suppose it's better to, if you're going to lose an asset due to a mistake, you're going to lose a 50-ton asset rather than lose 25-ton asset rather than lose a 100-ton asset, as the two teams are now trying to flank on each other. Shooter attacking Neil H by himself, along with, we've got two forces coming, and let's focus on the the Tikonov forces, which are now focusing all their fire on the right side. Shooter, Chezar, Ivan, all in danger now of dying. They're attempting to close in. Tikonov not hitting just one target right now, but Ivan will now be hit by about five assets. Ivan down. And that might be enough, as the pincer maneuver may or may not pay off. Depends on how much damage they've caused. That flamer kills Burner, and this is over. It'll just be a matter of time now. There's just not enough gun power left. They might take some of the Tikonov forces with them, but the planet will fall to the Tikonov attack force led by Eridani Light Horse as we see the rest of the heated battle fire up. Ultimately, the game of patience pays off for the Tikonov forces, and they are able to have a overwhelming victory. And they made a statement today letting the forces of the Chaos March know that they're back, and that the Tikonov forces are ones to be reckoned with in the future. So now there's only one asset remaining for the Duchy of Small Defense Forces, which are going to take a really huge hit tonight, having lost 3-0 and losing a planet. You'll just have to come back, and they'll have to get right back into it, as tomorrow they're getting ready to attack a planet on their own. That's it. The planet falls to the Tikonov forces, 3 maps to none. They come away with the victory on TC Inferno to give them planet Capolla. Duchy of Small loses its first planet of the campaign. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Chaos March Network.